Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest Resident Evil character, Leon Scott Kennedy, has finally returned to the Resident Evil franchise, and honestly, this is the best thing that Capcom could have given us. And Capcom, if you can, please give me a Devil May Cry 6 also. Please, I'm humbly requesting you. Please, I'll be the happiest man on the planet if you can give me Devil May Cry 6 along with Leon Kennedy in RE9, honestly. But anyways, back to Resident Evil. Hey guys, Devil Crow here. Today we are going to be breaking down the Resident Evil 9 Requiem trailer scene by scene. This trailer has a lot of stuff regarding story and gameplay, both of which are important and the core of Resident Evil 9. And honestly, seeing Leon return and primarily seeing his gameplay has honestly made me come back to the franchise hard. But anyways, I think that before we even touch the visuals, we need to talk about the title itself, Requiem. Now I searched, a Requiem is a song for the dead. It's a funeral mass. It's a final goodbye. I mean, I kind of had my head wrapped around what could Requiem mean because it's such an odd title. Like, look at Resident Evil 7. It was RE7 Biohazard. Pretty self-explanatory, right? RE8 Village. Now, it has a bit of mystery behind it, but the village was also kind of, very straightforward because it was legit set in a mysterious village, which was filled with a cult or, cult. Yeah, it's cult only. But Requiem particularly is very symbolic. It's very metaphorical, right? And I think that word tells us a lot more than it lets on, right? Now, that alone tells us something massive. That Requiem does not basically signify that it's just another outbreak, that it's just another village, city or cult. Requiem feels like a farewell. It feels like a farewell to characters, to an era, and I don't want this to happen, but maybe to Leon himself. Like, I've heard somewhere that Leon Kennedy might die in this game, but I don't think so that'll happen personally. Leon is the face of the franchise, and if Capcom kills Leon in this game, they'll lose like pretty much 50% of their Resident Evil players. So that's not going to happen. Now, I had a look at Capcom's updated premise, and this is what it says. A body has surfaced at an abandoned hotel in the Midwest, the latest in a mysterious string of deaths throughout the United States. FBI intelligence analyst Grace Ashcroft has been assigned to the case, in the same place where her mother was murdered 8 years prior. But when words get out that a police officer has gone missing at the hotel, veteran agent Leon S. Kennedy is also dispatched to the scene. As Grace and Leon's path converge, they must face their past, uncover the truth behind the Raccoon City incident that changed the world forever. But while the terrors of their memories echo in their minds, will they relive the nightmare or finally offer up a requiem for the dead? Whew, great premise, man. Honestly, great premise. Now, this already sets Requiem apart because, Resident Evil has always been about survival horror. It has always been about, viruses exploding here and there, the threat of biohazard activity. But this feels kind of personal. This signifies that it maybe has some relation to the sins of the past that are finally coming to collect. So with that in mind, let's just break this trailer down properly and let's see what it has in store for us. The trailer opens with Grace meeting Victor Gideon, and immediately the vibes are wrong. Now, Victor Gideon has showed up in multiple trailers of RE9, but we haven't had a true identity reveal of his, but we finally know his name. Now, when I first saw this guy, he wasn't facing us anyways, he was sitting on a chair, but his voice was very creepy. I immediately knew that this man was not right in the head. But now that we actually see him, we notice that this man is scarred, not injured. It maybe leads to the case that he was experimented on. His body tells a story that before he even, tells us himself that these aren't random wounds. They look systematic. They look like he has been repeatedly tested. These were failed attempts. Maybe these are survivor scars. When he tells Grace that it hasn't been easy, it hits harder than people realize. This man maybe has lived through something unnatural. And then he goes on to call her special. Now, when he calls her the special one or the chosen one, this immediately raises questions. That those choice of words, they do a lot of heavy lifting. Because that makes me think that is Grace immune to whatever he was, experimented upon with? Maybe he was injected with a virus and she's immune. Does she have dormant abilities like Rosemary Winters, Ethan Winters' daughter, who, herself had special abilities of her own? Or maybe Grace has some sort of special blood, DNA, or some sort of lineage that is the key to Victor's survival or cure. Now, Victor is wearing goggles, and there's a scene where his goggles are down, but another set of goggles are down, but that is another huge red flag in my opinion. Resident Evil does not hide eyes unless there is a reason, something like a mutation, infection, maybe sensitivity, or something far worse than that, something very sinister. My theory, Victor is a failed prototype. He was experimented on, and that experiment failed hugely. And maybe, just maybe, Grace is actually the successful version of that experiment because she is the special one. She is the chosen one. That means she is the perfect specimen. She is the one who made out. Might be, this is my theory, it might be the case. But honestly, I'm excited to see how she is connected to Victor Gideon at all. Now we cut to a scene which looks like a forensic crime scene, and one line stands out. This is the fifth one, no post-mortem lividity. That's terrifying. That means these victims did not die naturally. Their bodies were altered before death itself. This sort of screams biological manipulation. The sort of stuff that happens that when you're experimenting on someone before they see their lives go out in front of their very eyes. We see a police officer showing up behind Grace, and we see someone who's taking out a chunk of his flesh outside of him. Now, this guy, based on the appearance of his outfit, is Leon himself. This is likely Leon, and I'll show it to you how. We then see some medical imagery, DNA strands, cell structures, and some sort of, infected fingers and stuff. And then that name appears, Elpis. In Greek mythology, Elpis represents hope, specifically the last thing left in Pandora's box. Great callback to God of War 3. Like Pandora says, hope is the thing that is left with us. It is how we fight when all else is lost. Now, this is kind of ironic. Whatever Elpis is, it's hope gone wrong. We then learn that Victor Gideon is someone who had ties to Umbrella and has now purchased a building right after Umbrella's downfall. Now honestly, this does not surprise me that this is somehow connected to Umbrella, seeing that this is Raccoon City and this is where everything began. Of course he's connected to Umbrella. Umbrella does not die, it metastasizes. My theory is that the building that he purchased is a kind of revival site, a modern Umbrella offshoot operating under a different name, maybe continuing experiments that Umbrella wanted to be buried. Like maybe kind of a fail-safe that, Umbrella was experimenting on something and kind of prepared contingencies that if its downfall happens, these experiments live on. Victor is definitely not the final villain of the entire game. He's not even the main villain. He's like a halfway point villain. He's just a sort of warning of what has gone wrong and that there is something far worse waiting ahead in the entire game. We then have a look at the main man himself, the face of the Resident Evil franchise, the GOAT himself, Leon Scott Kennedy. Leon's introduction is subtle and powerful. Like, see, he has a Porsche. He's freaking loaded, man. He has a leather coat which automatically increases his aura points by infinite values. And he looks like a man who's seen too much. I mean, seriously, Leon looks like a proper full-fledged veteran right now. He looks like a man who's had enough in his life and just wants it to be over, man. He just wants everything. He just wants to get it done with, man. He just wants the nightmare to finish. But now if we zoom in a bit closer, we see that there is some sort of an infected mark on Leon's body. That is huge. Leon has survived Raccoon City. He has survived Las Plagas. He has survived global bioterrorism. He has literally rescued the president's daughter herself from, threats that were not supposed to be survived by humans at all. But now, he finally looks that he is compromised. When Leon rescues Grace from that old woman, notice something crucial. He says that FBI, what are you doing here? He does not know who she really is. Maybe, he had some sort of information that Grace was sent here, but he actually kind of looked surprised. So I think he has no idea who she is, and he definitely was not hired for a rescue mission at all. Now, this tells us that this might not be a planned extraction at all. Grace is not part of Leon's mission, but after encountering Grace, she becomes Leon's mission. Now we also see imagery of infected hands again, now mirrored with Leon studying them. Honestly, this image of the chunk of flesh that was taken out, and if we zoomed in, we see that Leon has been bitten. All of this tells me that basically Leon has been infected and he's searching for a cure for himself. And he's just seeing imagery of these infected hands because maybe he wants to find out what will happen to him if he doesn't find a cure as soon as possible. This is parallel storytelling, this is foreshadowing at its best, and Leon might be looking at his own future if things go awry. We see someone tracking a vehicle heading at top speed, likely Leon's Porsche, and this might be the background chick who's been talking to Leon, might be someone else. It's interesting that we'll know soon enough when the game comes out, but he's being watched regardless. Now then comes the axe. Leon holding an axe is a deliberate choice. It's primal, it's brutal, it honestly shows that, Leon has progressed so far that he can basically use anything in his hands as a weapon against these creatures. Resident Evil has always balanced firearms with desperation weapons, and this suggests that resources will be scarce in this game, even for Leon. Now, all of this screams that Leon is going to be the Chris of this game. Basically, I believe that he's going to have much more screen time than Chris did in RE7 and RE8. And honestly, he would be much more playable than Chris was. Basically, he would have much longer playable segments than Chris Redfield. We have a look at the final gameplay shots, and there's one zombie who's telling him, calm down. Yeah, these are the words that I made out, calm down, which implies retain consciousness. Now, this is much worse than mindless zombies. He is conscious that he's speaking, and Leon as always is taunting his enemy, and that's just peak Capcom for me. He's a stylish character and he vibrates all of that Capcom's stylishness. We see him battling that zombie. He's likely going to be sort of a boss fight. We see that his signature kick, Leon's signature kick. And finally, we see Leon with a chainsaw, man. We finally see Leon with a chainsaw. It's a callback to RE4, but way darker and way heavier. Honestly, after having looked at all this is where I think the title fully clicks. Requiem isn't just about death, it's about atonement. Leon has been cleaning up Umbrella's mess for decades. I mean, this may be the story where maybe Leon finally gets to retire, but honestly, I just see that they'll make Leon do this till he's 90. Like, honestly, man, Capcom is going to keep cashing out on Leon as much as they can, and they should on Dante as well. Devil May Cry, please come back, man. Please come back. Either way, this means that Capcom is saying goodbye to some of the legacy features of RE4, a Resident Evil franchise. Maybe it's going to be done with Raccoon City as a whole after this game. Maybe this is the final time we'll ever see callbacks to Resident Evil, and the entire franchise is going to shift into a new storyline, maybe. And honestly, if this is sort of a goodbye, I could not think of a better way than Leon returning in RE9. Overall, I would say Requiem gives me RE7 vibes. Definitely not going to be as scary as Resident Evil 7 in my opinion. That game honestly frightened the shit out of me. I could not play it at night. I only played it at daytime or afternoon or the evening. Definitely not when the sun went down. It looks dark. Could surprise me, maybe even be darker than RE7. Definitely screams more tragic to me personally. Personally, it's definitely more mysterious than RE7. Definitely more than RE8 as well. It might not just be survival horror. This is legacy horror. It has the legacy of the entire RE franchise resting upon its back. Because RE7 and RE8 were sort of a reset. With an entirely new protagonist and keeping Chris on a minimal role, especially in RE7, RE8, he had a major role. But, if this is truly one of Leon's final chapters, and after maybe this and after a few games he gets to retire, I like that. Give that man a rest, man. Honestly, overall, I cannot genuinely wait for this game. Capcom, I can't wait. You have my money. I'm buying RE9 ASAP as soon as it comes out, as soon as the pre-order comes out. And Capcom, give me Devil May Cry 6. This is your Devil Crow. I'm signing out. See you in the next one. Please hit that like and subscribe button for more.